All right, Spoken Word Spirit Tower. Some of y'all hung out for the next performance.
Thanks for sticking around.
Absolutely. Thanks for sticking around and this beautiful Friday here at Oregon Country Fair 2025. I'm super excited. The performers are already on the stage, but I just wanted to, we got Eric Braman. He's got a book. Was it Cover Me in Cherry Blossoms? Bury Me in Cherry Blossoms that just came out. And Eric, he's going to talk a lot about himself as well, but he's a poet, a theater maker, a visual artist, like just all kinds of different things. And then also we got Madeleine Sisson, DanceAbility. I watched a few videos, very beautiful. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they're going to give a performance here, and I'm going to get off the stage. Thank you guys. Eric Braman, Madeleine Sisson.
All right, just as a heads up, we're calling cues on the phones, and we know how Oregon Country Fair goes. Sometimes the demons are with us, and sometimes they're against us. So everyone take a deep breath and say, "Demons of the forest, be with these performers today." I think they're with us. I can feel it. I capture these moments of cattails and mulled wine? How do I pause the passing clouds so the moon stays bright in your eyes? How do I halt the hurtling weight of time to remain here, right now, with you? If I could, I would summon the sun directly out of the horizon. I'd pull it back to that exact moment of sunset when the fuchsia in the sky brought out the pink in your cheeks. If I could, I would pluck the quiet stars from the sky and mix them into our wine until it sparkled, effervescent, bright as our eyes the first time we kissed, soft as our skin, secure in the sheets, crisp as the creases of your lips when you laugh. If I could, I would catch the breeze and wrap it around us like a wool blanket, pulling our bodies closer and closer until our chests are pressed so tightly we forget what separates our souls, until we can't hold ourselves from falling so deeply into one another that our bodies become an afterthought. If I could, I would imprint every millisecond of my life with you into a gallery of moments, into a display of laughter and tears, heartache and heartbeats, kisses and noses and fingers and hair. I'd preserve each flash of memory so I could never lose you, so I could look back and swim through a sea of each moment that showed me why the sun rises each day and why mountains reach for the sky. If I could, I would rub the ink of this poem into my skin until it sinks into my bloodstream, pumps through my being, and merges with my DNA, so I always remember how to love, how to stay still, how to look into the horizon and dream of stardust and spaceships. If I could, I would. I would save you. Every moment of you, every moment of this world with you, I would. In the meantime, I'll do my best to absorb you like a sponge and hold you in my pores, to never let this feeling of saturation evaporate. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you for being here, for hanging out with us on this beautiful Friday. I hope you got yourself some burritos and you're enjoying some food at this midday hour. My name is Eric Braman. My pronouns are they, them. I am so fortunate to be here with my collaborator, Madeleine Sisson. You're going to get to hear some things from Madeleine as well today, but there's going to be a little bit of hogging of the mic, to be completely honest. But I want it to be very clear, this is a collaboration, this is a 50-50 partnership, and it is such a gift to be able to be here with you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off with a story. And give me a moment as I didn't rehearse this. Center stage. Oh, hi. Hello. I wanted to give you a chance to get to know me. A lot of what you're going to be hearing today is poetry, but we wanted to kick off with a little story. So this is the story of my first coming out. The first time I came out was in first grade. I was riding the bus home in early fall when I saw this girl in the most beautiful, the most stunning, the most spectacular hot pink windbreaker jacket. I was transfixed. Now, I think it's worth mentioning that, like for many people of a certain generation, that early elementary bus ride was the first time I got to interact with other kids on my own terms, because there was no adult intervention and oversight. I mean, okay, yes, there was the bus driver at the front keeping an eye on us in the rearview mirror, but she was well occupied with making sure the bus didn't veer off the road. So, there in our seats and across the aisles, we were, many of us, engaging for the very first time in this skill called conversation. Well, being the talkative and hyperactive child that I was, when I saw that hot pink windbreaker jacket, I reached across the aisle, snagged it by the arm, pulled it close to my face, and screamed, "It's so pretty!" She laughed, pulled her arm back, and corrected, "It's pink. Boys aren't supposed to like the color pink." Well, being the talkative, hyperactive, and definitely stubborn child that I was, I responded with, "Well, I like pink. No, I love pink. Pink is my favorite color." There it was. My first coming out. I, Eric Braman, according to all official paperwork, first grade boy, came out as a lover of pink. She responded with something along the lines of, "Oh my God, Eric loves the color pink. What a girl." So it should come as no surprise that I was pretty well laughed at and ridiculed by the kids on the bus that day. But like I said, I was stubborn. I wasn't going to let anyone's judgments get me down. And for the rest of that year, anytime someone came on wearing that beautiful hot pink color, I gave the same bald fist, wide-eyed, full body shake reaction of, "It's so pretty!" Now, I remember telling some adults in my life that pink was my favorite color, and it came with mixed reactions. Everything from, "Oh, well, that's interesting," to, "Well, most boys like the colors blue or green." And my absolute favorite, a rough and gruff, "No, you don't." Like, I'm sorry. No, I used my eyes. And I looked around the world at the many colors that were available to me, and I chose that pink, that hot pink, that almost acidic pink of the early 90s, and decided, yeah, that is my favorite color. So, yes, I do. Now, like I said, I was persistent with my love of pink that year. And over time, I started to notice that some of the girls would wear pink intentionally. They would get on the bus and gently wave their arm in my direction to get a good reaction out of me. Over time, I was no longer known as the trademark boy who likes pink, and simply as Eric, that overexcited new kid who's the second to last stop on the route. It's funny how kids are able to accept differences when there's nobody there to tell them they shouldn't. As a matter of fact, one day that year, a girl gifted me a pink eraser. I think it was the same girl in the windbreaker jacket that special day. It was in the shape of a heart. It had sparkles inside of it. It didn't erase very well, but oh my God, I loved it. I remember walking home from the bus that day and appreciating its beautiful pink hue in the bright sunlight. I think it was sunny that day. That's how I choose to remember it anyway. I kept that eraser in my backpack all year long. I don't know that I necessarily kept it hidden, but I certainly held it as sacred. Anytime I was having a hard moment or feeling frustrated, I would pull that eraser out of its special pocket, watch its sparkles reflect in the overhead lighting, and place it back in its special spot. Now today, if you were to ask me what my favorite color is, I will tell you it is teal. And I don't know when I stopped saying pink and I started saying teal, but I do know I changed my answer because of the way people responded to me when I told them the truth. It's funny how we're willing to change parts of ourselves to fit in. And you know, after enough years of telling this sort of lie that teal is my favorite color, I started to believe myself that it's not pink, it's teal. And don't get me wrong, I love the color teal. It is beautiful, and honestly, I look great in it. But I also love the color pink. Because the color pink is the color of spring flowers and my favorite Power Ranger and strawberry flavored candies. It's the color of being sun-kissed after swimming with your friends. It's the color of my mom eating sugar-sprinkled grapefruit, my grandmother applying her lipstick, and us kids having a watermelon eating contest and spitting the seeds as far as we could. It is the color of laughter so hard you run out of breath. It's the color of the Barbie items I would go into my sister's room and envy with all of my might while they were not in the house. The color pink is loud and soft. It's aggressive and gentle. It's sweet and it's sour. It is so many things all at once. And you know, the more I think about it, I think that pink is really the color of me. Thanks, y'all. All right, I'm going to welcome Madeleine back up here to join me. So, when we were thinking about the collaboration of like, how do we think about our art forms, Madeleine and I? And we've got poetry and we've got dance. And this is one of my favorite conversations that's kind of come out of this partnership, is what we've discovered is that dance is essentially the poetry of the body. And what I am bringing is the poetry of the voice. And so there's this beautiful natural merger of the two art forms. This is not the first time poetry has ever been paired with dance by any means. But something that I know that we've both discovered is how much we've been stretched as artists as a result of collaborating. Thinking about the musicality of the words and thinking about the ways that we can add textures and flavors. Thinking about the ways you can respond to not just the words, but the feelings beneath them. And really letting ourselves be kind of on a journey together of discovery. So today, while you're watching the performance, please know that we have rehearsed this. There are moments that are certainly locked in, but a majority of what you are seeing is improvisation on Madeleine's part. There is connective tissue that Madeleine is letting come out of her in this moment with you. So thank you for being here with us in this wonderful experiment. This next poem is titled Learning to Drive. I used to mix CDs with flavors ranging from cayenne to vanilla. They filled a book in my sidekick footwell. Sharpie etched surfaces read a message to readers. Beware he, she who listens. I never understood how to follow heartache with hard rock, but with water-filled eyes I cast a net, pulling sonnet and virus from the dark web. I learned to drive by sliding cars into ditches. I used AC in winter because it was easier than taking off my coat. In summer, I lost sunglasses in glove compartments and let gummies melt across my dashboard. My car collected my mistakes. I had a CD I only played when I drove alone. I don't remember what songs were in the mix, but I recall the shame of them. 17 tracks for 17 years I didn't like myself. But I pretended to. I learned to drive by running stop signs and T-boning fragile elders in larger cars, by smashing face first into airbags and crying on curbsides. I hated myself and didn't know how to keep my eyes on the road while changing channels. One time I drank bad beer in the basement of someone's house I barely knew. He played a song on my secret CD. I drove my car into a traffic sign and learned I hated myself but should improve my driving. I was 17. And I pretended with CDs and footwells and eyes barely on the road. I learned to drive by plowing through snowdrifts and hitting the brakes too hard. I just remembered Norah Jones was on my secret CD. I pretended I didn't hate myself. Over time, I got better at driving. Thank you all so much. You're probably going to hear a little bit of queer themes that are here in the show today. Represent the queerdos that are out here at the fair. I see a few in the corner. We're scattered all throughout. Madeleine and I, our queer identities are really important to both of us. And so being able to be here with you and bring our voices to this space where there is this liberation and freedom to express yourself, but there is not always the feeling of feeling included and welcomed. Our voices being on mics all across the fair is a major change that helps people step into the fair and feel like this is a place they can be as well. So thank you for being here as a supporter of that and for advocating for those artists all the way along. All right. The next piece that we're going to talk about, I want to talk about the idea of a point of access. So poetry is one of those art forms that for me, as I have told people I'm a poet, sometimes people are like, I love poetry. And other people go, interesting. What? And it's great. It's beautiful because we get to surprise each other. Dance kind of has a similar thing. Sometimes people are like, I love dance. I would go to a dance concert in a heartbeat. And other people are like, I guess I've never been to like a dance thing. Poetry and dance are these two art forms that if you're an insider, it feels really good. And if you're an outsider, it can feel really intimidating. My hope today is as you are listening, as you are witnessing, that the merger of these two, if you love one and you're discovering the other, that there's new entry points you discover in today's performance. And remember, all art forms are just there for you to observe, absorb, bring into your being, and discover if it's right for you. And today, you might find things that are right for you. I hope all of it is. But, I don't want to put too high of expectations, So we're going to go into a little bit of a queer love story. Yes. This is a poem titled An Inseparable Knot. And I have to give the shout out actually before I go into this because Jorah is here. Can we all give a big love to Jorah over here in the white dress? Let it be known that it is all her fault. I would not be here in front of you if I had not showed up to an open mic that Jorah was hosting, shared this particular poem, and Jorah would not stop calling me a poet until I called myself one. So for anyone who's out there, yes, round of applause for that dear friend who has fostered so many poets through the years. Anyone who is out there who might be like, oh, I dabble in this thing, but I'm not that thing. Let this be your permission to call yourself that thing. It literally changes the way that you make. So this is titled An Inseparable Knot. I think love tastes like 5th grade. When I balanced on the edge of my best friend's kitchen sink, sneaking sips of whiskey from a stepdad's pantry. We winced and Grimace smiled broad and weird and said, "It's good!" Too ashamed to admit our first taste of liquor was anything but tasty. I wonder if love tastes like going back to his room to play Crash Bandicoot with eyes a little glossier and cheeks a little rosier. Cheeks rosy. Like the first time I held on to his waist as we rode on a sea-doo across the waves of Saginaw Bay, my stomach doing flips before we even hit the surf, unsure of how close to sit or how to grasp his life jacket without being too obvious, wishing we could ride that sea-doo forever, with him in front of me and my arms around him. I think love tastes like high school, when the only drink we could get for the party was cheap whiskey with no chaser. We passed the bottle back and forth as he said, "This is the worst shit I've ever tasted." I just laughed, took another swig, gagged, and let the heat of the poison slide down my spine. Maybe love tastes like stumbling back toward the campfire with the sky above us spinning. The world always spun when he was near because he looked in my eyes when I told him stories, and he laughed at my jokes from a place that was deep in his chest, like maybe from his heart, and I knew we'd never kiss, but I thought of him each time I met someone else's lips, no matter who she was or how long she called me her boyfriend. Now, I think love tastes like college. Like junior year when he turned 21 and I bought him a shot of Jameson. I didn't like whiskey really, but I agreed to take it with him because he said he loved it, because he said it was his favorite. Our glasses clinked, we tapped the bar and shot it back, gasping for air or at least a sip of Diet Coke. I'm pretty sure love tastes like the rippling bass and strobing lights of the dance floor, or how our favorite diva sang and fast forward and time stretched until it nearly stopped because he was near. And I did not care who saw us kiss because he tasted like whiskey and sex. I think love tastes like tonight, when he picked up the crystal wedding decanter and poured me a glass of that expensive stuff. The whiskey I bought him for Christmas. We sat on the couch, my hand on his knee and head on his shoulder as we watched Game of Thrones and HBO reruns. I'm pretty sure love tastes like right now, with the dogs running into the living room, their tails wagging in the air, and him setting aside his drink and tossing around toys, orchestrating a chaotic dance of growls and yips until they're too tired to play, and we all curl up in bed, a shot of whiskey in our bellies, and our bodies wrapped in an inseparable knot. Love you, poet! Thank you all so much. My husband likes to call that poem the Whiskey Made Me Gay poem, so put that in your back pocket and run around with it. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break from my voice, and we're going to get to witness Madeleine in her purest form and be able to see the magic that she's able to create with her incredible tool that is her body. A little bit about Madeleine. She is one of the members of the Northwest Movement Ensemble, which is kind of how we got connected and met each other. It's an amazing group that is based, Hales is also a member of it out there, I see, hi. They're based in Eugene, and they do some incredible work that is in tune with horses, with creatures and animals, with the land, and is an incredibly beautiful organic form of movement. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the song and let Madeleine take it away, but give me a second as I clear the items so that she does not kick over my music stand. Please, everyone, murmur about yourself and say, wow, I'm so excited for this. Go ahead, go. Keep going. Yeah, one more. How much else? I'm so jealous. You're so hot. Okay, really warm up. You're so talented. I'm so excited for this. Thank you all so much. Madeleine just did a major workout, but I'm going to go ahead and actually invite her over to the mic so she can breathe heavy breaths of inspiration into your ears. Before I hand it over to Madeleine, I just want to give another deep appreciation. Madeleine has been one of the greatest collaborators I could have ever dreamed to partner with. We come into rehearsals and I just throw a thing out and the answer is yes. And you cannot ask for more as an artist than somebody who sees what you are putting out there, puts it through their own filter, and returns something to you that is far greater than anything you could have dreamed. And Madeleine has been that. And so I'm just so appreciative. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Madeleine.
Thank you, Eric. Wow. Likewise, and working with you has just been the most raw, natural, beautiful process. As you've heard and will continue to hear, your poetry is it speaks from the heart, and then it's also so grounded in nature. And I guess, as you shared already, I dance with a movement ensemble, a company, thank you, here in Eugene called Northwest Movement Ensemble. And we work with a lot of contemporary and modern dance practices, but our movement is also informed by improvisation. So as you also shared, much of what you see here, I didn't even know I was going to do it. And we'll work within a score. And Eric's poetry is just such a beautiful score. Like working with some of the words, do I take them literally? Do I, how am I inspired by them? So thank you so much for welcoming me into this process, and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right. Thank you, friends. Last night I got to watch Madeleine also do one of the most brilliant burlesque performances I have ever seen. And y'all, it was power. Fair After Dark. Yeah, Fair After Dark. Look out. So, speaking of burlesque performances, do y'all want to get a little sexy? Can we get a little sexy out here? Ooh, I think we're going to get a little sexy. Okay, take a moment and just be like, I'm ready to be sexy. We're like sweaty, we're dusty. But even when we're really dirty, we can still be a little hot, you know? If there are children in the audience, don't worry. This is completely family appropriate. But if you have experienced the wonders of the body, I think you will find a connection to this next poem. It's titled, Every Moment Our Skins Meet. There is nothing sweeter than the taste of sweat on Sunday. You are a slice of fresh watermelon, and I'm ready to let your juices run down the scruff of my chin until you pool on my chest in a puddle of perspiration. We worked these sheets into tidal waves, white caps crawling toward the edge as you push me down into the deepest caverns either of us have ever swam. Like rivers in Austria running sage green along the edge of railroad tracks, we seem to let gravity take us as snow melts from any frozen bits we had left. I catch the sun spying in on us through the small cracks of drawn blinds, his stare casting spectrums across the curves of your body, and so do I. Touching every canyon of your landscape, exploring your seven wonders, and thanking the gods for arranging your molecules in a time and place that allowed them to crash into mine. I dream of galaxies forming from the dust of our impacts, little rocks circling giant stars, and you, a black hole I'm ready to be sucked into. You reach for the small chain dangling from the ceiling fan and move this humidity in circles until we feel the soft breeze across the sands of our bodies. And I reach for you to protect me from the chills of offshore winds. I catch the sun's jealous stare once more, amber in afternoon, and you, a fuchsia his sunset could never cast. We stretch spectrums with every thrust of gravity, shifting ocean tides, reaching for a taste of our salt. But today, you are all mine. A great lake so superior, large vessels fear crossing your currents. I feel the redwoods slowly grow as the sky is blocked by us reaching for heaven, and I think we're nearly there, or as close as the angels will allow us to fly in these mortal bodies. We catch eyes, and the brown of your iris blossoms into ultraviolet as we cast pollen to bumblebee, to butterfly, to wasp, to wind. Something inside my brain trips, and I'm caught in the tickle of tiny feet on fresh stamen. Suddenly, I'm a robot short-circuiting in the sand, the wires crossed, causing malfunctions to explode into glorious explosions, and you, a mad scientist, study the sight like it's the final clue to world domination. And I find myself happy to be your subject. The sun sets. And so do we, slipping down into the warmest waters we've ever swam, cicadas chirping across our bodies. And for a moment, I believe there must be a God, because how else could two humans so closely understand the exhilaration felt by spring waters bursting forth from a glacial dam? You stand up. I admire the craftsmanship of you. And I realize the God is you. And the God is me. And the religion is every moment our skins meet. Thank you all so much. Now, I hope that while you are here at Fair, when you head home today, if there is someone who so wishes to get sexy with you and you so wish to get sexy with them, may you explode like a glacial dam. Goddamn. But also, remember, it feels best when both parties are loving to be a part of the fun. Consent is mandatory, and it is sexy. And no matter how high you might be, an enthusiastic support from those you are messing with is the best way to have a good time. So let that be known. Put that in your back pocket and carry it with you every moment you feel a spark. Ooh. Okay, I'm done being on my soapbox, but I will never get off that soapbox. I'm sorry. I won't. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shift over. And this is going to be a dramatic shift. And we kind of did this intentionally because the world is filled with dramatic shifts right now. I'm sure that many of us are probably here and it's like, oh my God, it feels good to just breathe in nature under the trees with these people who I love, living in this idealized version of a community. But there's still hardship that's existing here in this community. And outside the boundaries of this place, we are still beholden to the world that we live in. And it can be really hard, I think, right now, to live in this world. So this next poem is one of my newest poems that I've written. And it is a meditation intentionally about these moments of tumultuous terror and frustration and fear and anger and so much more. And throughout the poem, it will invite you to breathe. And if you feel so inspired, please feel free to take a deep breath. I'll tell you what, it feels really good. It's like essential. Our body like functions on the air and water and what have you. So if you feel inspired, please take some deep breaths with us. This is titled, Come Undone. Close your eyes and walk with me to the corners of the places we've always known to call home. To the tripping wires that tell tales of your arrival, a jingle so gentle most would not hear the heartbeat of a home who has always held you. Now breathe. One breath for the part that never left, who gripped the gravel in fistfuls and filled every shoe with fertilizer, who spread grass seed in your sandals and watered the paths you wandered, who laid lazily down in the mud until every inch was coated in earth, doing anything you were able to help yourself stay grounded. A second breath. For the pieces of you that could not stand to stay another day, for the fragments who fled in the sapphic blue of midnight, tiptoeing across kitchen counters and whispering nevermore to the lilies in the garden, to the shards who looked back, and the fractures facing forward, and the rest who wished to return but froze in fear at the thought of turning to a pillar of salt, doing anything you were able to keep yourself moving. A third breath. For the bits conflicted, for the flakes caught in the doorframe, facing in or out, looking up or down, breathing in or out, standing or sitting or laying or splaying or seized somewhere between postures, one hand on the handle, the other placed patiently under pillow, satisfied with the rustling of leaves begging to be freed from their trees, doing anything you were able to hold yourself to the ledge. Now breathe. You were never meant to stay in one piece, to somehow stumble through life without chipping your corners, without scratching your surface, without losing your lid. You are not meant to feel like a failure for having fractures, for showing the signs of all you've survived, for wearing and tearing and bearing it all. Your mess is magnificence. Now breathe and receive this wish for you to shatter, to crash across the granite floor and split into a million shards, your sparkle ground down into the grout and glaze, daring bare feet to step in your wake. May you be lifted by the breeze and tussled through time until you are diamond dust, a wonder in the wind, a bit of magic on Monday, a wish for someone still whole. Now breathe and let yourself come undone. Thank you, friends. None of this is meant to be any form of forced optimism, but one of the biggest things as a poet, and Madeleine, you mentioned this, that nature is a really important part of my writing. Nature is our greatest teacher. And the reason is because we are nature. We are natural beings. We are literally biology, and we will turn to dirt just like the tree that is standing right above us. And if there is anything I have learned from nature, is that the first thing you need to grow something is fertilizer. And fertilizer begins as rot. We are living in rot right now. We are in the compost bin at the worst time when it smells the worst. And what we have the opportunity to do is to see when it is ready to be cultivated and used to grow the thing that we want to grow. We are not beholden to the rot that we live in. We have the opportunity to look towards the compost we can plant tomorrow. Not forced optimism, just trying to be real. All right. Also, I just have a mic, so I'm just going to spit some stuff at you. Take it if you like it and throw it out if you don't. I don't think there's anyone here who probably doesn't agree with me, but maybe you have a different perspective on it, so just throw that out. Okay, so we did some self-care. Now, the other way we're going to get through these hard times is by community care. And this next poem that we're going to share with you is a piece that I wrote for one of my dearest friends at one of the darkest, hardest moments of his life and his family's life. He was in the hospital, and there was a moment where we thought we were going to lose him. And this is a poem that I read to him at his hospital bed. It hasn't hit me in a second, and just hit me. And sometimes when we are hurting, when somebody else is hurting, we want to be there for them. We don't know what to say. And I found myself when I don't know what to say, as I write a poem that doesn't require me to say it explicitly, but go to that place that is something deeper than a word I can say that's like, this is what I will logistically do for you. This is what I will spiritually do for you. This is what I romantically would do for you. What I, romance being friendship, being family, being community. And so this is a poem that I wrote for him. You can find it in my collection, Bury Me in Cherry Blossoms. And it's dedicated to his whole family. This is titled, As You Have Been by Mine. When the clouds hang low, covering the treetops and mountain peaks, let me be your clear skies, shining sun upon your face. Let me burn through the morning mist and greet you with a soft embrace. Let me warm your skin until your bones no longer shiver, until you're pink in the face, until the bees leave their nest. If you need courage, friend, let me collect the most resilient ferns in the forest, bursting through the charred ground, reminding blackened tree trunks that after every fire comes life. Let me sow these ferns into a castle for you to sit at the throne, breathing their spores until your DNA unfurls, until your spine grows straight, until your kingdom come. If you need strength, I will pull at the fibers of my muscle like loose strings, unraveling the pieces of myself onto a spool, to be weaved into a blanket or armor, to warm you and protect you, to comfort and encourage you. Wrap yourself in all that is given and use this to hold you up when it feels the wind is too strong or the demons creep in the shadows. Use this shield to stand firm, to find your footing, to move forward. If you need love, I will collect the hearts of every mouse in the field, of every sparrow in the sky, of every salmon in the sea. I'll loop them on a chain to be worn around your neck, to rest on your chest, to soak into your skin, to embellish you, my friend. Because you are loved beyond the capacity of every heart I could collect, of every poem I could write, of every metaphor I could compile. If you need me, just say the word. Just raise your hand. Because I know the road is rough, I know the night is dark, and I never want you to think you must journey on your own. I'm here by your side as you have been by mine. You're here by my side as I have been by yours. I'm here by your side as you have been by mine. Thank you. Woo. Oh, I love it when old art hits you like it's brand new. Damn, okay, I love that human. They live in Ireland today and I miss them so much right now. Okay, come back. That's not pushing down, it's letting it out. Okay. So we have a little bit of time. We get to play around a little bit. I've got my book here, Bury Me in Cherry Blossoms. It does happen to be for sale over at the table there, and I'll be hanging by the table if you want to say hi and get it signed or whatever, whatever you want to do. And one of the things I love to do, and to really reinforce this idea of improvisation, is I'm going to get a number from you, a number between 1 and 99. Everyone put it in your brain. That's a great number. That's a good page. I'm going to read the poem on that page, and Madeleine is going to do a truly improvised dance to it. You have been so present through the whole show. Can I get a number 1 through 99? 78. We got 78. Here we go. All right, my eyes are burning now because I was just letting... Oh, yeah. This is titled Somewhere Down. And for those who are from Eugene, this was written at the top of Mount Pisgah. So, Somewhere Down. Somewhere down this hill I hear gunshots. Practice for hunts or battles or war or blasts at the hands of souls too young to comprehend the power in their palms. The white-tailed deer in my stomach leaps the ledge of this cliff as she prays for a soft landing or protection below, not knowing or understanding how far she will fall. The jackrabbit in my heart seeks the nearest bush, overcome with shakes and shivers, his eyes growing wide as harvest moons. The man in the back of my mind wonders where he went wrong to respond to the sound of survival with such distaste. The woman in my ribcage wonders how she became so trapped in this toxic cycle coursing through my veins. I stand trapped in a trance, conflicted by all the parts of me in disagreement on who I am meant to be. Gunshots, this hill I hear, somewhere down. You're good. Okay, sorry. My eyes are like watering. Thank you, Madeleine. True improvisation. We're letting the mechanics fly. We are here in nature. Electronics aren't even supposed to be here, but thank God they are so you can hear me. And thank God for the people who are making it happen. Yeah, can we give it up for our sound folks who are keeping us heard today? Oh, and for the fan. Big appreciation for the fan. Yeah, shout out to the fan, baby. All right. We actually have enough time to do one more poll, and this time my eyes seem like they're going to be... Can I get a number from you, 1 to 99? 17. All right, we're going to the beginning, baby. Yes. Oh, this is a fun one. This one is called Squirrel in the Wall. Yeah. Okay. A squirrel lives in my wall. I hear it at midnight scratching gently on the sheetrock. It's making a nest. It's eating a grub. I imagine its eyes are black, paws are clenched, tail is flicking, constantly flicking. It waits for the moment I'm nearly asleep. This is when it moves. My eyes stare hard into the dark of an empty ceiling. Its trail is burned into my brain. Forward, pause. Left, right, straight, pause. Dig, scratch, scratch, pause. Forward, right, pause. A squirrel lives in my wall. You can't hear it now, but I know it's there. It's watching me. My foot draws circles in the sheets, wondering if when it dies, will it rot in the small space between sheetrock and siding, electrical wire and support beam? One night, I won't sleep. Waiting for the scudder. All right. A little poem about anxiety there. Anybody who's familiar with it, you're like, yeah, I got squirrels in my wall too, baby. And it's always at the worst times that they're like, oh, hey. I'm going to burrow in real nice and deep and I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat your walls. Yeah, that's how it feels. It's itchy. It's scratchy. And also they're like so cute that you don't want to get rid of it. So you're like, you help me. You help me through the day. Don't use squirrel. No, yes, no, yes, no, kind of. Okay, sorry. I'm getting off track. We're going to go ahead and close it out with one final poem. Everybody say, aw. But that's okay. You can continue experiencing this poetry if you so choose to purchase a book after the show. Was that good? Was that good? I'm trying to get better at marketing. Okay. So this last poem we're going to perform for you is the titular poem of the collection, Bury Me in Cherry Blossoms. Cullen Vance, who I was talking about earlier, I just want to share the music that you're going to hear is Cullen Vance's music. So we found one of his, we Frankensteined this poem to it, and Madeleine is here to add the extra layer of magic. So, Bury Me in Cherry Blossoms. When I die, bury me in cherry blossoms. Preserve me in petunias. Place irises upon my eyes and crown me with carnations. Let this harsh exterior give way to milkweed and magnolia. I could never carry the kindness of Camus kissing the river's edge. I never found the freedom to sprout full bloom like fuchsia or geranium. So let my burial be a rainbow of red roses and blue violets, yellow yarrow, and white wisteria. Let vines of morning glory wrap me, cocoon me, and compost me until I'm soil and clay. Let these atoms I hold transform and add texture to every wild flower in this field until my full spectrum is revealed, embedded in the faces of old friends, Trillium and Tiger Lily, Larkspur and Lavender, Blackberry and Begonia, every petal of the alphabet, beauty and bounty, wild and wonder, full and free. Bury me in cherry blossoms. Remember me as colorful as spring. Thank you all so much. Ooh, more Cullen wanted to come on. Thank you all so much for being here today, for hanging out with us. We are so appreciative. Enjoy your fair. Welcome home. Madeleine Sisson. Madeleine will also, do you want to share a little bit about the Creative Exchange real quick? Yes? Okay.
Sure. If you'd like to find more of me, I'd just like to give a little shout out to Eugene Creation Exchange, which is a local art exchange, and it's a safe space for queer people, and we do collage and painting in the park, and we get together, and it's a good time. So you can find me on Instagram, Eugene Creation Exchange.
And again, my name's Eric Braman. You can find me on Instagram at Eric William Bram, or if you're on Blue Sky, which we're all jumping off the other app, you can find me at Eric Braman. Come say hi. We'll be over at the table. See you there.